And we're live. Hey guys, it's Jared. I'm joined with Matt here at Boat Outfitters. Today we're going to talk about cleats, right? So, some of the different cleats that we carry, one of the things to note that's pretty important is that these cleats are specific to the OEMs, right? So these are the same cleats you're seeing installed on the original boats when they're being built, like Yellowfin, Scout, Sea Hunt. These are going to be the same cleats. You can go out to Amazon and, look and do a search for cleats and see different cleats that are being imported in. They're not necessarily the original manufacturer. So the ones we carry are the cleats that are on the boats.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of this stuff is, like you said, OEM equipment on a lot of the new boats that are leaving facilities right now.
Sure. So, one of the things that I think we need to go through and talk about today is not just the styles, and we'll get to that a little bit later, is, number one, if you're gonna put cleats on a boat, there's one of two reasons. Number one is you're either going to be replacing the cleats that you already have on your boat and you're trying to look for an exact replacement. That's what we're here for. Mm-hmm. Additionally, kind of going through some of the different rules as far as new installation of cleats. How do I choose the right ones? What are the ins and outs of that? So, first let's start with kind of the process of if somebody has a cleat on their boat. Again, we've got the original ones here. Mm-hmm. What's the process, Matt, for them to reach out to us to make sure they get the right one?
So one of the best ways to do it, photographs are always going to help us, understand and see what it is we're exactly talking about. But dimensions of the cleat are going to help us as well, so we can identify the specific size that you need and get it all dialed in. And every one of these cleats that you see here all has dimensional drawings on the website showing you what each size is. But if you're reaching out to us to talk to us about what cleat it is that you specifically need, that's what's going to help us get there the quickest.
Sure. So send a picture. They can reach out to one of our customer service. We've got a ticket management system. You can snap a photo, hold a tape up in the picture, shoot that over to us, and we're able to say, yeah, this is this. You see something like these two models are very similar looking, right? So you've got two models that are close that we'd be able to ask a couple more questions that somebody that really isn't in the industry wouldn't be able to immediately say, yeah, this is this cleat versus this cleat. So before we get into the different styles of cleats here, one of the things that I did a little bit of research before is if you don't have cleats on your boat, how do I choose the right one? So we'll go through some of that. One of the rule of thumb is that for a boat you need a specific size dock line. So for every 9 feet of boat that you have, you need 1/8 of an inch of dock line, right? So
of diameter.
Of diameter, correct. So the diameter of the dock line. So if you've got a 36-foot boat, basically you're going to need a 1/2 inch rope, right?
Or is it? Yeah, I think that's math's right.
1/2 inch diameter. So as part of that helps you decide what cleat you need. So if you have a 1/2 inch diameter rope, you need, for every 1/16 of an inch of the diameter of the rope, you need that length in inches of the cleat from tip to tip, right? So basically for that 36-inch 1/2 inch dock line, if you're going to be using 1/2 inch dock line, you want to have at least an 8-inch cleat from tip to tip. And again, it could be any of these different styles, but that's from a size. And they usually say the bigger the better, right? So you don't want to be undersized, you want to be oversized.
That would be the minimum size for what you want.
Awesome. So, one of the things that we're going to go through and kind of segue into now is choosing the different styles of cleat and also material type, right? So, everything we carry is stainless steel, right?
Yeah,
we really don't have any poly or plastic cleats that we make. If we did, we'd make them ourselves.
Right. And actually, all the cleats that you see here on the table, these are all 3/16 stainless cleats.
Right. So, what we'll do is we'll kind of walk down through these different styles of cleats we had. I'll start here. This is just a standard cleat that's a fixed cast cleat. You can see there's, mounting holes from the top. There's nothing fancy about that. One of the pros to this is it's probably less expensive.
Absolutely.
One of the disadvantages is it's a toe kick hazard, right?
Yes. You're going to snag things on it. Someone's sliding off the boat to jump in the water. Your bathing suit's going to get caught. And there you go.
So, again, I'd start with these saying that these are the probably least expensive, easiest to install. Again, the disadvantage is a toe kick hazard, like Matt said, wardrobe malfunction hazard. So,
or if you're, even if you're just working a fish around the boat and the line comes under the cleat because that fish is hot and you're just trying to get around the bow and that's sticking up there, and there goes that sailfish, and that's going to really upset you.
So these are the next model, which is a pull-up cleat, right? So the model just kind of pulls up. You're able to access that for your dock lines. I'll aim it over here a little bit so people can see it. It just pushes back down, so you're able to easily pull it up and push it back down.
Actually grab that over
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
I think your shirt's washing it out a little bit. So
I went fancy today.
You can see a little bit, and it stays up. It'll stay up at any point where you move it. It just pulls up, stays right there. The nice thing about it, there isn't a specific detent or locking position for these hinges. These are our gem hinges, the gem friction hinges. These are the gem pull-up cleats, the cutting edge cleats. So like I said, no detent, no specific locking position. You could stop it at any point in the up or down position.
So, the really nice advantage to this, again, is that, you don't have that toe kick hazard.
Right.
It is a little bit more complicated to install. You've got right here, you can see that the cleat doesn't have any face mounting holes. It's mounted from the back.
Right.
So you've got to have access to the area if you're gonna switch these out, or
Yes.
the guy that wants to change something's happened to them and they've got some corrosion over the years.
Mhm.
You have to be able to gain access to it to switch this out. Or if you're installing, you've got to have access, so the installation's a little bit more difficult.
Right.
Go ahead and walk them through this. This is something very similar, just a different supplier.
Exactly. Right? This is from Acon. This is what the slimline cleat. It's also a pull-up cleat, but you'll notice it'll click up and click down. So it just snaps in the up or snaps in the down. It doesn't move smooth, kind of like what this does. But the nice thing is, it's either up or down.
Sure.
Same deal though. Less of a toe kick hazard, more slimmer profile. A lot of flats boats will use these style cleats because they're so flush. You less things to snag on. Same type.
Awesome. So, we've got a couple more. Let's walk them through those as well. These are a little bit different. I think pretty cool.
So this is one of our flip-up style cleats.
Yep.
So also from Acon, I believe.
Correct.
And it's got a little latch here. You can see right where my finger is, and I'll just pull that, and it'll pop right up. So you can see it from the side here, or I guess from here, and it should just pop right up if I'm not pinching it, which I was pinching it.
So the nice thing about that, again, is that it's low profile when not in use. Pretty unique design. I think that's a pretty cool design there. But again, you've got some hidden mounting that's there, so you're going to have access to get to the back of that cleat underneath the boat.
Right. So the studs are actually permanently attached to the underside of these cleats. So you do absolutely have to have access. They're provided with the large, stainless washers, so you don't have to worry about that. But you do have to be able to get under there with a wrench or a ratchet to be able to tighten this up.
Awesome. So the last style is just the pop-up one, which is pretty cool. It's got a little spring underneath it.
Yep, got a whole spring system underneath there. It's got a little button on the top that looks like a flathead screw, and you just push the button, it pops right up.
Cool.
And you just push it right back down, and it locks in the down position. This is probably the most flush-mounted option that you're going to run into. These pop-up cleats sit really, really low profile compared to what some of the other pull-up or flip-up cleats do.
Right. Yeah, you can see that definitely as we walk down. You get more and more low profile as we work through. Least, then it a little bit sits more proud, and then all the way down to that's almost completely flush there.
Right.
So these are kind of some of our other standard cleats. We'll switch over to the site here to go through some of the others as well. That we don't have samples here in the video. One of the things as far as we talked about adding cleats to the boat is placement, right? So
right.
Placement on the boat, you want to usually have 3 on each side, at least bare minimum, right? You need your bow lines, your stern lines, and then a midship line for spring lines.
Yep.
So again, these are the cleats that we offer. Would you say that there's instances where you may use this at the front, that at the bow, or bow versus the stern, or is it different, or they usually try to be consistent on most of the boats?
I think a lot of the new boats, the way you see them come out, they're sticking pretty consistent. But if you were working on a project yourself and you were looking at adding cleats, and say for example it's a 19-20 foot boat, a springline cleat probably doesn't need to be full size in the gunnel. You might be able to, maybe you want a single 8-inch cleat up in the bow, and maybe 2 6-inch cleats in the back, and maybe you only need 4-inch cleats in the gunnel for your spring lines, or maybe bumpers or whatever else you might be hanging off the side. It all depends on what you're really trying to set the boat up for and how you typically use it.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and switch over to the website here. All right, perfect. So here's what we've got. Again, going through some of the different ones we've already covered, right? So you've got your fixed. Kind of have the nice thing is you've got all of these different reviews. In a lot of cases, customer reviews have photos of the installation as well. We inside each of these, we're providing some drawings for a lot of the different cleats. Let me go ahead and click over here actually, and we'll show you that. Oh, that one doesn't have it. So here's an example, right? So a lot of our cleats will have these drawings in here. So if you need something from a dimensional standpoint, you're able to quickly click through, see the different drawings, be able to get the right measurements on what you have. You know, some of the other stuff that we have, which are more non-common, right? You know, we walked through, you know, the pop-up cleat. This is a hidden stud version of a pull-up cleat, and you can choose the hidden stud version of that. You know, one of the things that we need to be mindful with these is that you need a backing plate, right?
In some of these cases, you do, yes. So, for example, you know, we have a couple different backing plates.
Yeah, let me switch back over here.
Yeah, why don't you show the, yeah, exactly, that's perfect. So the pop-up cleat in specific, this little one that we have in front of us, we grabbed the backing plate for that. This backing plate is absolutely going to be necessary in this case because you have your 4 mounting holes. You don't have the ability to get a large diameter washer on there. So you'll notice there's a little, you know, notch cut out here for where the push button is. So this just would slide right in and sandwich around the fiberglass. And it acts as a really good, strong stainless steel backing plate. That's you know, exactly what it's designed for. But what you'll notice here is, for example, on the flip-up cleat, it's provided with these 2 large stainless flat washers, which is going to provide just about the same amount of support as what this backing plate is. And you'll see the same thing on the gem latches. Like, for example, this is sandwiched around. There's a very large diameter washer sandwiching around our acrylic here. And these are all, you know, it all comes with all that hardware on the cleat.
Awesome. So let's move back over here and check the screen. So again, here's another version that we don't have a physical sample of. This is a pull-up cleat. You know, very similar to the slimline, but more recessed, similar to the pop-up, right?
Right.
You know,
So,
sorry.
Just like the, yeah, exactly, just like the slimline. I think that's also an Acon cleat.
Yep.
It pops right up. It locks into a little detent. But that cleat's actually pretty cool, and we'll get further into that when you get further down the tabs here.
Yep. So we've got a backing plate like we showed you here earlier that you can buy sized appropriately for the different cleats.
So this is a different backing plate actually I'd like to talk about, and I actually have this particular backing plate here in my hands. The cool thing about this backing plate is you see it has the little screw that's sticking up in the middle. Well, this particular backing plate will allow you to install a full-size backing plate behind your cleat without having to have access, like cutting a secondary hole to get access underneath your cleat. So that little set screw, you're going to be able to take this plate, drop. You want to switch over to the face view real quick.
Yeah.
You could drop this backing plate and pull it to the underside of your fiberglass. Run your set screw through the fiberglass and pull this backing plate up underneath the glass. Now you don't have a secondary hole, but you still have the benefit of a threaded insert backing plate that you can then run right down into. And you don't have a secondary access hole that's necessary. So for your 2-piece construction boats, really the most beneficial way to add a full-size backing plate.
Yep. Switch us back over here. So going through waterproofing cups, you know, this is a good opportunity where it's not draining down into the gunnels of the boat. You're able to plumb. So these are available for most of the different Acon cleats that we have on the site.
Right, so the pop-up cleats in particular, you can get the waterproofing cups for these because any of these are going to allow water to penetrate through them.
Awesome. We've got the fender lock cleat. So this is something that's actually unique. We've added within the past year and a half to the site. Actually, a customer at Fort Lauderdale popped in and asked, you know, do we have these? I think he was looking for just this portion of it. So these are real slick. It mounts to the boat, right, where it's pretty flush. I think this is the only portion, this bottom part, that sits proud of the whole of the boat.
Yep.
You're able to, you know, tie your fender off here and stab that into the hole and be able to remove your fenders and hang them up. So pretty
You
cool.
can essentially set the length on your fender. If you're you're coming back to the same dock, the docks you're going to are about the same height. You set your fender length and you just pop it in, pop it out.
Awesome. This is a lifting cleat.
So
what is this, man?
This is the cool kind of what I was getting at about that other cleat that we were looking at. So this cleat is something that you would find in the bow of the boat. You know, say for example on like a flats boat that you're lifting with davits, or even some of your, you know, maybe up 23-foot center consoles or so. This will flush mount down through the top of the boat and tie in to the front lifting eye or the tow eye that's on the bow of your boat. It does require you to replace that tow eye in using this hardware here, but it allows you to lift with a davit from that cleat and still utilize the strength of that front toe eye.
Awesome. And this is a pretty cool one. This is a combination of like a rod holder cleat here. So we'll click through a couple of the different images.
This is probably my favorite cleat. This is so cool because a lot of times you run into situations where, gosh, it would be nice if I could just tie off right here.
Right.
And you see some products where people are dropping in like rods into a cleat that into a rod holder that has like a cleat on it, and they're tying fenders off on it. Well, this solves that problem. You can even keep a rod in the rod holder and pop this up.
Yep, that's a pretty cool part. All right, so these are just some skiing chocks, which helps against chafing for the boat.
Right. You find a lot of those in the bow of the boat. You know, so you're running your anchor line through them, so that anchor line's not sliding on the gel coat, rubbing it off.
And then the final one is just some different tie downs that we offer, right? You know, if you want to tie down a cooler or...
I love these tie downs. I actually have these tie downs on the bow of my 13-whaler, and I strap my cooler down to the front of it, and it stays there the entire trip. It doesn't move. Honestly, I don't even take it off. It's still strapped on the bow of my boat right now.
Cool, so let me go ahead and switch back over here. Let's see. Yeah, so guys, that's really it. You know, one of the things that we always want to make sure that you guys know is our process, right? At the end of these videos, that if, again, you're looking to install cleats or you're looking to replace cleats on the boat, you know, we've got a team of people that are over here that are ready to answer those calls for you. That's Matt's team. We take pride in what we do, what we know about our business, about the industry. You know, we're here to help. So, you know, give us a call, shoot us an email. You know, we love talking about boats with you guys. Other than
my
that,
favorite thing to do.
Other than that, there's really, you know, I feel like we've covered the bases of cleats. If there's something that we didn't cover here that you want to see answered, go ahead and comment below. You know, we've got an individual that will get back to you here, get back with you with your questions. Other than that, we really appreciate you guys stopping by, and thank you so much.